Good afternoon, good evening. Oh, good evening, everybody. And it's really nice to come to you this evening, another Friday that the Lord has given us to come to you from before and after. I do. It's always our pleasure to come to you. And yes, I'm here, and I'm here with a wonderful guest that most of us know of, have interacted with in many circles. And my name is Pauline, for some who may not know me yet, and I'm your host this evening. And this is the 5th Friday of July. And so we decided to climax this July and our series on Before I Say I Do, and with question and answer, because of course a lot has been coming in over the weeks when we have been doing this series on before we say I do. And so today is question and answer, and I want to invite my guest to introduce himself, say something this evening to the viewers as we go on. So karibu sana.
Thank you, Pauline Wawira. It's a blessing to have you and to be on your set. I really admire what you do, and I thank God for you and your wonderful husband, Humphrey. My name is Reverend Ken Aringo. I am a minister of the gospel. I'm also the brains behind the Marriage Garage or the Couples Clinic. I'm the lead counselor in the Couples Clinic. My background is counseling psychology and divinity. And I love the Lord Jesus Christ, married to one wonderful lady called Ruth. And when she's not around, I'm normally ruthless, but today I'll try to be ruthful.
Yeah. So you're going to be ruthless, eh?
I'll try not to. Been married 17 years and counting.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. So, you know, Reverend Ken, when I was thinking about, having a question and answer time this evening, the person that came to mind in the preparation was you, because having worked with so many couples, we have our sign language interpreter who is joining us also, who is joining us this evening. Thank you, sorry. She joined in just a bit late after us, but Fiona is with us. Fiona Wallace, it's always nice to be with you. Karibu. So yeah, so I couldn't think of anybody else. Reverend Ken, you have really worked with so many couples, preparing them, and not just preparing them, but by the fact that you're a licensed minister to wed, you even wed them and of course post that. So yes. I don't know, what would you say, what interested you about marriage?
Wow. Number one, I want to say that my own marriage inspired me to do what I do. There are things that I remember our counselor working with us 17 years ago. God bless his heart. I love that man, Dr. Peter Kariuki, and his wife, Leah. They did an amazing job on us. But the reality is that things that today in marriage, I discovered I was not well prepared for. Why? Because every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year, things change. The dynamics of relationship, the expectations, generational demand, and the pressure, real life, mambo kwa ground, it's a reality. And so I just realized there are so many things that young people entering into before they say they do need to know. And some of them are the mistakes I've made. I would hate someone to repeat my mistakes. But there are others that are the victories of marriage, the joys, the pleasures of marriage that I would love to share with somebody. So that's what drives me. Yes.
Amazing.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, and it's really a privilege to be able to share an experience and even to feel that I wouldn't want someone else to go through what I went through. I want them to be at a better place. Yes. And when I think about that, I always think about the War Room, Reverend Ken, the lady that acted, the older lady, said the things she talks about at War Room are things she wished that she did, but she said she'll not die with them. She'll teach another woman how she should have maybe prayed for her marriage, and it's very nice that is what drove you to want to learn more about marriage.
That's my motivation. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the first questions, and it's no particular order. I've just gotten them even over the months that we have done before and before saying I do. So these questions are not in any particular order. So one of them that has been asked is, what is, because there's this thing of I have been so independent, and now I'm getting married, and I'm told that I may need to sacrifice some things or anything when I get married. So they're asking, what is living and cleaving?
Wow, I
Yes.
love that. I always use that whenever I wed couples. I use these
Yes.
three phrases: live, cleave, and weave. To live, to cleave, and to weave. Now, the first part, live, is more obvious. Live is basically what we do in WhatsApp. When we say we left, I like joking that we left, okay? You left the group of being someone's daughter, son in their home, and you move to your own space in your home.
Yes.
With your fiance who becomes your husband. And so either of the parties will leave their parental or home of origin and come together and be united. Now, that cleaving is the aspect where I believe that there's a forming together of two, that 1 + 1 does not become 2.
Yes.
The only time mathematics is confused is in cleaving, where 1 + 1 becomes 1. And yet the oneness never dies.
Yes.
And no wonder the Bible talks about the mystery of marriage. Marriage is a mystery.
Yes.
That 1 + 1 becomes 1, yet the one is not dead. The one is still alive. But the one dies to self, and the selfishness starts dying. And so we move from selfish to selfless. And the aspect of helpmate starts coming in. And that means you admit your weakness, and you do realize the other party is strong where you could be weak. The other party could be weak where you're strong. And we stop competing, and a new vocabulary comes in: complementarity. So we move from competition to complementarity. That, all those dynamics is what cleaving is all about. And that cleaving also comes with another weaving. Weaving is what I learned in Bible school called perichoresis, a Greek word. Perichoresis is, if you see my hand, everyone forms there. There's such a formation, and that bond sticks it. And that is the weaving. That you fit into each other, you fit for each other, and you fight for each other.
Wow. Wow.
You don't fight each other.
You fight for each other, not each other. Wow.
Yeah, don't fight each other.
I like that. So someone, before they say I do, needs to be ready to leave selfishness to selflessness.
Come on now, you got it.
So it's no longer I.
It's we.
Wow.
Yes,
Living and
us. Yes.
Wonderful. Now, the other question, Reverend Ken, is why is it so hard to flee from a relationship before marriage, even if the red flags are very clear? Why is it so hard? Someone is asking.
Wow. It is so hard, number one, because there is something called enmeshment. When something is enmeshed, it is closely knit together. And it becomes very hard sometimes. You know, in everything, every fiber in you, physically, emotionally, tells you leave. But also there is another realm which many people don't talk about, and that is called the soulish realm, where a soul tie has been established. So yes, every day you'll talk of leaving, and you are psychologically, mentally, you know, you are tired, you can even complain about it. But what makes many people stick it out is the soulish realm. That is something that makes you feel like you'll tear apart. There's something in you that will be broken. And there's that fear of how will this look? The fear of the unknown. And also there are people who, by virtue of their motivation, by the time of entering into marriage, maybe you wanted to prove to your haters that you can be taken. Okay? And now your haters have seen you being taken and enjoying. You start thinking, what will I take? Nututambia watu nini? That's where the problem begins. You're inside this prison, but you are imagining the consequences of stepping out. How bad, how ugly, what will be the people's opinion? And I wish people would start realizing that marriage is between two people. There is a supportive network of the community, but don't do it for other people. It's so dangerous to be stuck with someone in a marriage and you are doing it for other people who are just fans, like in a football match. They're cheering from the stands. You are the one who is in the heater, in the oven. So
wow.
many people get stuck because of the fear of what will other people say, the public, the community, the surrounding, their ecosystem, if you like.
Yes. Wow. So, I mean, so what would you tell somebody who is asking that right now? That as you have explained why it is so hard. So
Yes.
what would you say about, what would you tell that person right now, Reverend?
Colin, thank you. Very few times have I been forced to tell someone what I'm about to say. But there are a few times I've had people in toxic relationship where they're dying. Everything inside them is dying. Their self-esteem is dead. Their self-worth is dead. They feel abused, misused, and used. And they stick it out there because of that ecosystem. You remember, no one called you to die for the marriage. Jesus already died. Now, you need to get help. Now, there's a level, I think we live in a culture and a society that does not celebrate looking weak. And especially, I know men, some men, we live in a culture where men are not supposed to say, I'm in trouble, I'm dying. I know men who are in abusive, and it goes even the other way around. So reach a point whereby you can reach out and say, you know what, we need extra help. We need professional help. And I'm so glad, I want to celebrate what you are doing, Pauline, with Wawera Counseling. This is the point where you come in. Someone says, I admit. I remember this week I had a chance with a couple who they just said, we need to talk to somebody. And the guy confessed to me, when I was coming to you for the last 1 year, we've been hoping to come to a counselor, but I feared for a whole year, I refused. And this guy tagged me into a talk I had the other day online. And he said, when I listen to you, I realize I can talk. You look like someone I can talk to. And he said on his own decision, when the wife told him, let's go for counseling, he refused. But he did his due diligence and he listened in to a talk we were having. I hope someone like that is listening in tonight, Pauline, to be able to say, connect. See, can I look for someone you can connect with? And pray also that God will direct you so that we don't fear this thing called professional counseling. Many of us die in ignorance. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. In Zechariah 4:6.
For lack of knowledge, yeah.
This is a forum to empower.
I really like that. So that when that person is there, it doesn't matter whether these two who are relating are even about to get married and the wedding date is already set. If they really feel that those red flags are there, they can say, we need help. I still feel I'm not yet there.
It's in my practice as a celebrant of marriages. I've had to stop 2 weddings.
Wow.
One was a week to the wedding, one was a month to the wedding. And I felt so pained because I discovered issues that I knew if I move these guys to the I do stage, and they will say their vows and we'll dance and eat the pilau. But when we leave them in that honeymoon, there will be no honey in the moon. God will bring the moon, but they are not taking any honey because the honey had been eaten.
Wow, that was very courageous of you. And I think it is very important because if you can see, you also don't want to be a partaker in, you can see there's danger and then you go ahead and join them. So I think it's okay for even a minister or a counselor at times to really point out that this thing is actually not going to work.
That's true. I always say I'll give an account before God. Yes, for what I did.
Oh, okay, thank you, Rev. Another question is, when do you know that someone is the right person, that the person you're dating, or when someone is asking, when do you know that that's the right person?
Wow, thank you. Now, I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to know. Number one, when do you know that this is the food you want? When you go to a restaurant, okay? When do you know that I now need to eat? There's a sense in which that hunger pushes you to the food. And I want to say that the one thing that many of us do not do, we consult on every other thing except on this one important area of someone you are being locked in. I like how Kiswahili calls marriage. Marriage is called in Swahili, pingu za maisha.
Wow.
When do you know that you are ready to be in a pingu za maisha, to be jailed with someone for life? Entering a large auditorium with no exit doors. That's how the illustration I give of marriage. Everyone sees this large auditorium. The entrance is so big, everyone wants to go in. But once you go in, if you're a Christian, the exit doors are all closed. You ever gone to a movie where you can only see an exit sign, but the hall is so dark? I believe that we know it is time to get married when that person has met the goals, the vision, the purpose, meaning you can't go into a marriage without due diligence, or rather, you can't go expecting to get married to somebody without doing your homework. Homework means socially, what are you looking for? Emotionally, spiritually, what are you looking for? This is where I tell people, you please look, what are you looking for? You must answer that question. What am I looking for in a spouse? Because then when you get it, then you know that now you have it. Then you say it's now time. I'll give you my personal example. When I was looking for a wife, I remember when I met this lady, Ruth, who is now my wife. I met her the first time I was preaching in this place. And when the pastor's tea time came, she came to serve us tea. And as she poured that tea in that thermos, the way she was pouring it and the smile, I could tell from the angle of that thermos and the look, the diligence, the keenness. Unajua kuna watu wanamwaga chai wanakumwagia, it pours on you again. I just love how she handled herself around serving the guest. And she talked to everyone like a good waitress. And I said, wow, I'd like this thermos to pour on my tea every day. That's what won me over. And I told her I'd like an extended conversation. And from the first date, I went on a date and I had a lot of things I was looking at. How is she receiving when I ask a question, when I give her a chance to talk, the level of engagement, her mental capacity, ability to engage in a topic of interest. I don't want to live with someone who is boring or who does not laugh at my jokes. So I was looking for all this stuff, someone who can complement this stuff. And I had my list in my heart. And every time I ticked away. And there are a few that she didn't meet, quality she didn't meet that I was looking for. I said, you know what? I can meet those, I can get those and along the road. So there are those things when you enter, you need to know, this one I can work on, but this one I can't start without. So you know that it is time when you have met what you are looking for. Sadly, many people don't even know what they're looking for in a spouse. And they're busy running around with people. What are you looking for?
Wow, that is very powerful. That is very, and thank you for sharing your personal story. I mean, yeah. So another question here is, how do you agree on which church you'll be worshiping in? For example, this one asking, they are in two different churches. They have not come to an agreement of which church that they'll be going with. How do they come to the agreement about religion or denomination?
Wow. I think that sometimes people put the cart before the horse, okay? And the danger of that is that you need to ask yourself, why do we need to work to synergize towards denomination? Why do we need to synergize towards religion? Why do we need to synergize around spiritual issues? And that means start having a zoom lens and look into the future. What will a home with the two of you together look like? Okay, if you're having children, I always use this example. If I'm going on a journey that I'm gonna be away for a whole week, Pauline, what kind of stuff do I need to pack up for a 1 week journey? What about a trip for 1 month? And so I need to start asking, when we come together in one denomination, what is the pros and cons? What are the advantages, disadvantages? Because you can choose to say, me, I'm not gonna leave my denomination, I value it, and then me, I won't leave mine. How would that look for you when you have joint spiritual moments encounters, transitions, for example, baptism for children, okay, depending on your faith, that things that will bring both. Marriage has a way in which it brings, remember the cleaving question? If you have cleaved with someone, you're working together, you're partners, you're in a partnership. How, imagine when one is on the other end, one is on the other end. When you come together, how will you help the narrative, the building towards the cleaving if you are worlds apart? And so that decision of denomination must be informed by the vision of what you have, of the purpose of coming together spiritually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, 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 amazing. So, but are there some who would you, what would be your advice? Is it going together, or it is okay for them to be separate?
I think my first point of call, it always works best when you are together. I would highly advise, please work together when it comes to spiritual nurture and spiritual growth. So that, because sometimes someone will go much ahead and the other one is left by. Have you ever tried to carry a dead weight? Especially spiritual dead weight. I know couples who struggle is someone is so empowered spiritually, their walk with God is so healthy, thriving, and you come to someone and you arrive in the house and you tell them about Hosea or Haggai, and they wonder, where is that in there? Where is that? That is the book they used to keep their pocket money, because they know they'll never open that book.
Yes.
So how, for example, when you do spiritual nurture, when you do Bible study together, when you journey together, in my house, one of the things that have made me remain in marriage for 17 years, Pauline, and I thank God for my counselor who mentored us and worked with us in premarital counseling. He told us, establish an altar in your home. Establish an altar. And that altar, we are on a level spiritually whereby we can engage at oneness. No, the Bible says in Amos chapter 3, verse 3, how can two people walk together unless they have agreed to do so? And that sense of agreement must inform that coming together. If you must be apart from each other, let it be that you know that it is not a selfish, let it not be out of a selfish reason. Remember, what must die is the selfishness.
It's selfishness, to be selfless, for selflessness to happen. Oh, thank you for that. Now, someone asked whether is it okay to continue meeting an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend? So like they have broken up, but they're asking, is it okay to still meet the person you've broken up with?
Wow. You can meet, unless you are a pastor and they come to your church and you are meeting them on the altar and you are praying over people. You can't chase people, okay? Or you're a doctor and they come to a clinic and they need to be treated and you didn't choose who to come in, a patient walks in, that's okay. What am I saying? That there are extreme situations you can't avoid meeting people, because you can't wish them those if they're within your environment. But I would always advise you want to avoid having an ex. I like the name ex. Okay.
Sorry, we're having some just I'm hearing a bit of cuckoo. I don't know whether it's my end. Just try again. You can unmute. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So you can hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm saying that if and when you must meet somebody, let it be in a setting where you don't have control over. But do not go to fish from an old pond. Because like I can tell you, the reason why we call people an ex is that there was something and it ended. Why did that thing end? If you reactivate something that ended, you may reactivate other things that should be in the back burner. And that is where many people go wrong. You go in with an I call it an otero mentality. I can handle this bond. I can handle this. And what happens is that if you are doing that and your spouse does not know, what would happen is that along the way, you find yourself in a place of entanglement. And now we know what entanglement looks like in this day and age. You don't want to be entangled emotionally with someone who you had a past history with. And the fact that you shared a history together, it's so easy for you to slide back into some of those things that you carried then. So it's a path you don't want to travel. You want to avoid meeting your ex by every means. Yes.
So you cannot just be friends with an ex. There's no way you can.
No.
Yeah.
No. There's a reason why it was over.
There's a reason why it was over. Wow, wonderful. Yes, so the other question is, what if the lady is earning more than me? You see, there's a gentleman asking, what if the lady is earning more than me? Is it okay for us to still continue?
Wow. What's the problem? I don't see a problem there. I got maybe this is a time for me to use the SI unit of what worked for me, and I thank God for my wife. When we were getting married, she had more money in terms of career stability, and she was more established. I was not. Actually, I remember I got married, and a month later I went to school, to college, and for 5 years she took care of the family bills, and I took care of my studies because I needed to progress. And I remember many times that sense of insecurity as a man because of the background where I come from, where men are told men are providers, men must provide. Pauline, we're in a season with coronavirus. I've seen people who've lost jobs. You didn't plan, you lose it. You had a business, it went down. And your wife's business thrives. Why are we together if we cannot pull, if we can be naked together? The Bible says, Genesis 2:25, and the two are naked and they felt no shame. If someone can see you in your birthday suit, why can't you allow them to enjoy the blessings of what God has given you, that more money, if you are either of these spouses? And so I think that's a cultural issue, that we live in a culture that women feel that if they're more empowered, then the man is simply tagging along or should not be in that situation whereby they don't have more. So that is a cultural issue, but I strongly believe if you are a team, whatever you have is not me, it's not mine, it's ours. So unless you know that there's someone who is pursuing you just because they know you have more money and they're looking for, if I get this person in my end, I'm okay. That is a problem. So you should also know the character of the person that you're getting engaged to, or going to say I do to, because there are also some people who just take advantage. They know this person is more established in their career. If I get hitched with them, I'm okay, I'm sorted. That is a wrong motive. But if you find that you love each other, you are in principle, you are in agreement that you want to stay together, there is no problem if the lady earns more than the man, because you can always pull each other up. And that should be the goal of marriage, pull each other up. And that's what my wife did with me. 5 years down there, God bless me. And now it's not where we began. It's the different story. It's the shoe is on the other end now.
Wow. And now that you have shared your experience, maybe it was not one of the questions, but maybe I can ask, maybe this person, or maybe even someone else who is listening right now is wondering, how do we, because there's that issue of what you mentioned earlier, thinking about what will people say.
Yeah.
So how did you handle that? Maybe you can tell somebody listening. You said for 5 years your husband, your wife supported you being in school. How was that? Was it? Did you ever feel inferior? Was the family? The in-laws. How were you able to handle that? Because that is one thing that many people. Oh, now your husband does not work. Yeah. How would somebody handle that?
How does someone know what has come to, what are we calling does not work? Because unless you go with a billboard to announce, there'll be a problem. But this is something that I believe in marriage, people cover each other. People protect each other. So I never saw her one day maliciously go and broadcast to my in-laws, my husband who does not work. No, they knew I was in school and they knew that whatever our arrangement was between us. So I think sometimes we are so keen to live in the public gallery instead of realizing this thing is between the two of you and God. And
so Reverend Ken, our noise is back a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now it's okay.
So you need to ask yourself, who are you reporting to on your finances? You go to report to your mother or father-in-law or your brother, and you sit down and say, now this month we have earned this, so and so did not bring. It's not a committee issue. It's an issue of two. So the other party must protect the party. Like, I know that my spouse protected me in that season. She never went out there to, I remember many times she tell me, this is ATM, go and take the money. I handled the money so that I didn't feel the pressure. It was not hers, it was ours. And that's why it's so easier for me when things have changed. I can extend the same grace because I didn't see them make me feel I don't matter. It is their money. It was ours. One thing I
really like that. Yes,
yeah, life can happen. You can be so healthy today. Tomorrow you are diagnosed, you're in an accident, something happens. And that thing that, like I said, a job has lost. What happened? What do you do? If the other party never took the time to also be gracious, it will be so hard for you to extend the grace.
Wow, wow. I like that, Reverend Ken, because, and I like that, how would people not know one person is not earning unless you have told the world about it. And yes. I like that you said it's not a committee, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
It's between you. So what happens between the two of you? If and I like what you said, Reverend Ken, and I think we need to emphasize that as long as when you're dating the character of the person, of each one of you, it's about character before it's about money.
That's right.
Because at times we look at money, they're earning more money, they're earning less money, but the character issue here is the issue, and is what to look out for before even saying I do. That's wow. Right. Now this question has been asked has been asked to me even before this time, and people dating. If people are dating and they're planning to get married, so they're in dating season, maybe even already in courtship. Let's talk about even before courtship, because courtship is nearer their marriage. So should they do projects together? Is it okay to do financial projects together before marriage?
No. 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 I have seen a lot of drama around that area. Pauline, by nature, money is very emotive. Issues of finance can go south any minute. And people who, in very good intention, have invested together, put accounts together, and one thing leads to another. It could be I know a couple that put their money in shares, hundreds of thousands in shares, and the economy just dipped, and they never saw their money, and it was such a nasty war. So you want to avoid putting yourself in situations or circumstances that the enemy can use. And like I said, money is one of the most emotive issues I know of. If you can avoid a joint investment before marriage, please avoid it. Unless, and I like what my mentor likes telling me, if you are dating and you give your spouse money for anything, make sure it's money that you don't need back. Money you are ready to lose. That is where that falls in the category of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Yes. Where it talks about above all things, guard your heart, because issues of life flow from it. If you want to use money in joint projects before marriage, you are not guarding your heart. Protect each other. Do anything, but I'm highly discouraged.
So anything concerning projects should be after you have said I do, after the marriage itself, the wedding itself.
Because it can break a day before. Things can go south a day before. Then now you are dragging each other. I know people were in court because someone took advantage of you. You say they took advantage of me as we're planning our wedding, our marriage. That we did 1, 2, 3, and things went south. Now they're in court. I know I can point out almost 4 right now who I've worked with, and it's sad. That's why I highly discourage it. I've seen that from experience. Unless it's money, I'm putting in this one, I'm ready to lose.
Okay, thank you for that clarity. Now, another one is someone asked, break a relationship.
Sorry.
Someone wants to break a relationship. Is there a right way?
Sorry, I missed the first part.
is there a right way to break a relationship? Somebody
Wow.
wants to break a relationship. Is there a better way? Is there a right way to break it?
I don't think the word would be a right way.
Mm.
The word would be the reason why are you breaking the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
What makes it right or wrong is your reason for breaking the relationship. And so I know if there's something that I encourage any day, I'd rather break an engagement than break a marriage covenant. I'd rather break an engagement, a dating, a courtship relationship any day than a marriage relationship. Because the moment you enter the realm of marriage, it becomes a covenant with God. And so, yes, the right way of breaking it is your reason for breaking it. For example, a partner, you discover, I know partners who say, I'm dating so-and-so, and you discover along the way there's someone else they're dating, meaning their hearts are divided. At that point, you need to step back. They are not ready. And there's so many dynamics of lack of commitment that I've seen. So when you sense a lack of commitment to go all the way with the person, that is the time to break. So yes, I would say there's room for breaking a relationship. I would not call it a right way. Yes.
A right way.
And that's doing the right thing. When that room is doing the right thing, just don't do it maliciously.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose this is somebody who was asking, because I think there are people who you don't want to break the heart of the other person, yet you know that it's actually not gonna work. I mean, things are not happening. Maybe there's that issue you mentioned, maybe they're seeing someone else. So maybe and that is why from the very beginning when we began, maybe that's why some are not able to terminate a relationship, because you don't want to have them. Let's just, maybe it will get better when we get married. So I guess maybe that's why they're asking. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not go there. I think the worst party you can have is a pity party. It's not a very good party to throw. So never marry out of pity. If you don't break their heart in the dating courtship stage, you still break their heart anyway. It's just a matter of time.
Wow. Oh yeah, you still, because you still are feeling it, so it will still come up. Oh yeah, very powerful, Reverend there. Yeah. So if yes. So yes, in case you still have a question, I put down the ones that came in, but still feel free to share if we have not mentioned any, or whichever you had, our viewers who are listening, so that we can still listen in to Reverend Ken as he takes us through the answers. All right, the other one that I have here, Reverend Ken, is what if I come from a family with many breakups? How does that affect me in my marriage, or how would it affect me? I think they mean they are in their maybe both sets or one set of where they are coming from, their breakages. How will that, they are concerned, how would that affect them?
I think number one, there's a fear. I can sense a fear there. And the worst place to work from is a place of fear. The Bible says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So Pauline, my take would be your family background should not determine your decisions and especially inform your fear. The reason is, I believe there's a room for us to break even generational patterns. We break generational patterns when we understand our identity in God. And so that is a whole issue of, do you know your identity in God? Do you know that what you're getting into is something that is blessed of the Lord? The Bible says the blessing of God maketh rich and they add no sorrow. And so are you going to say that everyone who has a background that has breakups and challenges, now they are not candidates for marriage? That is living with a victim. You can't live with a victim mentality. You cannot carry the burden of your family into your own life. That is not the right way to live life. So there are things that we must be willing to rise above and entrust ourselves to the higher power by knowing that if God has brought you to it, then he's going to walk you through it. And the fact that now you know I'm happy that the person is conscious of that family background. It means that now you do something about it. And that's why I like when you mentioned the War Room movie. In the movie War Room, I discovered there are some things that must be dealt with because they are spiritual altars. Spiritual altars are broken spiritually. So now that you have the spiritual awareness, you become double conscious of that background and you deal with them on a daily basis. Do not give the enemy a chance when you know already that you have that kind of a background. So for example, if for example, you have a horde of aunties and uncles whose marriages never work, then you go back to seek comfort or solace or advice from those people. You already know what would go. So you want to remove yourself from advice, counsel that is ungodly.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Rev. The other one is sexual purity still attainable before marriage?
Yes, 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 it is possible. And that is the requirement. Why is it possible and why should we? I look at that in the sense of, if I'm getting married to this one person and I want them to be in my life, why do I want to have sex with them? And those are some of the things I talk about in my book, The Software of Sex. In the software of sex, I'm tackling the issue of our mindset. And that question is an issue of software. You're thinking, I am so weak in my flesh that I cannot sustain a walk in purity. What tells you when you get married, those feelings will go? Trust me, if you don't master yourself, your appetites, sexual appetites, your purity, a heart for God, before marriage, you find the same things, the curse repeating itself in marriage. So there are things that the Bible says, food is for the stomach and stomach for the food, that God will judge all of them. And I believe onus is on us to ensure that we protect the other party when we're in a dating relationship. Before you say I do, remember you have to take care of the interest of the other party just as you take care of yours. And you don't want to have them, want to get intimate with them. Then if it doesn't work, you hand them to someone else carrying your heart. So that is one thing that people need to be very clear about, that we're in this thing together, and when you protect my purity and I protect your purity, if we come together, then it will be a joy and a celebration of virtue of purity for both of you. Everyone gets time to gain. And that is exactly why I want to say it's possible, because it's a selfish act even to think that I can have my way and still, if it doesn't work, I'll let you go. To who?
Wow, wow. Wonderful. This is not here, but I could I could ask, now that we are talking about that, what are the measures that maybe a dating couple can take to make them attain the sexual purity?
Number one of the things that worked for me, at least I can say, you'd want to avoid private settings where you are having exclusive dates.
Yes.
In enclosed environment. Remember, your bodies are not made of wood or stone. Even when you are heaven-bound, tongue-speaking, devil-crushing, okay, the devil's oppressor. Be careful of the body. The body is not a wood or stone or metal. That body can get fired up. Anyone, if you doubt, asking David, the man after God's own heart, and Bathsheba, and it's not a story that is unfamiliar. So I want to say, avoid private exclusive dates. Be in spaces where there is accountability. And there's a light today. Many of us are consuming soap operas and raunchy romantic movies for singles. And I always warn people, don't rev a car that is parked. Don't rev a car that is parked. You will actually, the clutch will get spoiled. You're going to burn the clutch. So stop revving cars that are parked.
Wow, yeah. That's good. I like that. And of course, keeping one another accountable.
Accountability, yeah, thank you so much.
Accountability.
Yeah, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Ensure that you bring other people so that you are able to share. People who can call you out, who can ask you, how have you been the last 1 month? And that's why bringing the issue of mentor couples. You need to have mentor couples. Who you can be vulnerable, open, and share. If you're struggling, you can share. Say, we are struggling in this area.
Okay. Wow, time is still rushing quite fast, but I think the ones I already had, we should be able to finish. One is, the other one is, when I'm dating, do I have to disclose everything I've been through to the one I'm dating? And I want to believe they are talking maybe about maybe situations which are not very, everything you've been through must be something maybe not very, maybe something you went through that is regrettable also, I suppose.
Yeah. I think one of the things I like the issue of when you are supposed to reveal things, I use the onion approach, the onion principle. If you know how an onion looks, if you want to use an onion, you peel it in different levels and stages. The closer you get to the part you want to use, you start crying. If you've ever cut an onion. So there are things you spare for the time when you're willing. Now you're sure this person is someone I can cry on their shoulder. We can cry together. They will not run away. They won't be threatened by the truth. So reveal yourself like an onion in a dating relationship. Don't reveal yourself just voila, just go at it once, because there's some information that when you bring at it when it's premature in terms of knowing the quality of engagement, the personality of the person, their love language, their expectation, their maturity to handle what you're giving them. All those must be a process. So please reveal yourself in bits as you get deeper. In fact, there are others that it's advised that you actually leave until the last minute when you're sure this person can handle the real of who you are. We all have our past. So there's some past. For example, you tell someone after 1 week of dating, I was abused when I was a kid. Some of those things, before they reach a point where they have engaged, they know you, they understand the level of love of mutuality. It's dangerous. So please do it in stages. Yeah, be wise. May the Lord teach us wisdom and what information is good at what stage.
So because it means that you might, if you disclose when it's just a week, you might tell so many people. So you need to know, where is this relationship for marriage? Is it a serious relationship?
Exactly.
And so now I need to tell them. But
That's
it's not any relationship that you're not sure about yet.
Think of the person who has 7 exes. Like there's a woman in the Bible who had 5 husbands, and the sixth one was not even hers. Think of if she shared with every one of these men her deep secrets. Her secrets were everywhere. No wonder she could only go to draw water at midday. She didn't want to share with other women because I'm sure they were pointing and saying, that one, the one coming here, that's the one we're talking about. So you want to avoid bringing everyone into your front row, because unless you know this for sure is the spouse that I'm going to work with.
Okay. So disclose, but disclose with wisdom.
With wisdom.
When you're sure this is all right. Okay. All right. The other one is about having a best couple. That is it a must that we have a best couple, or is it okay for us to have a friend and a friend on our?
Wow. I think many people do that for the gram. People live on Instagram today, and so we are thinking, who will look nice on our photos? I've always had that fight with couples. Someone want to bring, this was my desk mate in school, this was my best friend in campus, and you bring them together. When you land into trouble and one of them lives in the UK, another one lives in Nigeria, how do they help? So if you're gonna have a mentor couple, then at that level, I excuse couples to choose their friend for the purpose of the wedding. When it comes to the best couple in a wedding, I'd highly advise that it be, why is it called a best couple? They need to be a couple. They need to be people who share experience. When you sit with them, you can share with them as a couple. And that is why they're called best couple. Sadly, today, many young people don't want that. They don't want that sense of accountability. They want someone who look nice on the photos, on the wedding photos. But remember, the wedding is a one-day affair. But marriage is a lifetime. When you start working together, you need this couple almost any other day. So would you want people who have to be pulled apart from different directions?
Wow, wow.
I'd highly
So
advise
it's not, so it's not about the photos looking good, but it is deeper.
go beyond the photos, yes, to the life.
Go beyond the photos. Okay. There's one here, it should be the last or the second last, that is it okay for ladies to also propose?
I was hoping you don't bring that up.
I'm sure you have been asked that, Reverend
Yes,
Ken.
I have.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I know, I think one of the things that if I were to speak in our context, African context, I always use the illustration of a rabbit chasing a dog. Anytime you see a rabbit chasing a dog, even that dog will not eat that rabbit. It will think it is poisonous. What am I saying? It's always better for a dog to chase a rabbit. Sorry to use that illustration, but I say it because I look at your face.
Yeah, I know, I'm like.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's the hunter. Man is the man is the hunter. And it's, while I know today they are very affirmed ladies, strong ladies, you know, who want to do it their way. What a man, I hear this phrase, what a man can do, a woman can do better. Those are the kind of ideologies and fallacies that bring that. It will be wise, and this is someone I've had experience of people who the lady pursued. Then the guy said, you know what, you pursued me, I didn't pursue you. And so please leave some room for worth. Like when you keep someone waiting and wondering, when is this? Yes. So it is not wise. It is not wise for a woman to propose. But if you feel where unabidi and the guy does not mind, I know people who have gone ahead and say, I want you, but it can go south along the way. Culturally speaking, I would highly advise that ladies wait. In fact, you can propose to God, just cry to God. God, let him see what I'm ready. Lord, speak to God, but don't go there and propose to a man, culturally speaking, as an African. But I know other cultures where it's okay for ladies to tell the man, I'm ready. Mbona unioni? It's okay. But our culture, it's a bit, it's those very gray areas. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So the last question is, and it was tackled by one of our guests over the month, that we had a couple who the gentleman was younger than the man, or than the lady, but I'll still ask it because it's a question. And is it what the age difference if the lady is older than the man? How is that?
Wow. I think that's a reality of life today. By the time you are dating someone, you are reaching out, you are eager to say I do to them, you want to marry them, I'm sure one of those things that will have come up is that subject of age. And I know many couples where the lady is older than the man and they have excellent marriages because they know which is the issue and which is a non-issue. Now, there's a gap. There's a level of gap of maturity where I highly discourage, where you are beyond a generation apart. When you are a generation apart, be very worried. And for me, a generation is marked by a decade, 10 years and above. When someone is older than you, 10 years and above, those are two generations. That's the reality. So there are some things that you'll find that one person is much ahead, more mature, and their perspective, way of looking at things change, especially for ladies. Ladies are early bloomers. Ladies, by design, God has made them to do so many, they multitask, they're able to engage. And so I want to say I'd highly discourage when there's more than 10 years difference. But I know people also who have that and it works. So that is not, there's no particular principle, don't. If you find yourself in such scenarios, that it needs to be a decision of the two people. The two people must agree and say, we can handle this. Again, it's all those things you don't go announcing to people and say, I'm marrying someone who is there. So it's between the two of you. If the couple is comfortable and they know they are ready to move ahead, in spite the age difference, let them go ahead. Don't stop. There's no justification of stopping them. If the two of them are agreeable that in spite of our age difference, we are ready to pull this marriage together.
Wow, wow. That is powerful. And I like the way you've given a decade, because the couple we had, they had a 8-year difference. And they actually
Yes.
say they remember when they are telling their children. You know, their children remind them when they are doing their bad business, but it doesn't occur
Yeah.
to them that the lady is older than the man.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I like what you say, that
Thank you.
they're more. I mean, I think the character issue is more than anything else about
Yes.
each of the.
That age before.
Wonderful.
True.
Yeah, so that is all that I had. I tried to put them together, the ones that had come in, and I'm glad that we've been able to really work on answering all of them. And of course, we always receive more, and so we'll definitely call you at some point, Reverend Ken, to come and do for us the question and answer again as we continue compiling, because we continue, it is a before I say I do page, and next month we'll actually now be going to after I do series, so matters to do with after saying I do. So I just want to give you a chance to give a parting shot, and I want you to give a parting shot to people who have not said I do, because that is the series we've been on this month. So talk to people who are maybe not dating already. So there's someone not dating. There are people who are already dating and maybe towards saying I do. And I would want, now that you're also in marriage counseling a lot with your wife, just say one parting shot to people who are in marriage. So over to you, Reverend Ken.
I want to say it was a joy just being on this set. And if there's one of those things that I tell people, you have a great advantage before you say I do. You can change your mind. You can turn back and say, you know what? This is not what I want. That's the advantage you have. It gets tougher when you say I do and you enter into the pingu za maisha, locked in for life with someone. It gets very hard. I would say Christian-wise, it's impossible. It is a breaking of a covenant. And so you want to avoid getting into something that you know your heart is not ready for. Don't deceive yourself. The Bible says in Titus 2:11, the grace of God has appeared to all men, teaching us to say no to ungodliness. So even no is an answer. But if you find it's something that will compromise.
Sorry, there's a bit of, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My audio just.
Okay. You've muted.
It's, well, no, it's just muted.
You're okay now?
I'm okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying that you are better off not starting on something that you know you'll struggle along the way. And so before you say you do, please take your time, seek God, seek understanding, seek the counsel of those people, significant other people in your lives before you make that step. Because it's a mega decision to say I do in the context of Christian marriage, to pledge yourself to somebody else, and then you want to turn back. And so take advantage, take your time, develop every character, every growth in you before you say.
Reverend Ken, let it give us 1 minute to wind up. Sorry, we'll keep working with this internet thing.
Yeah.
Try it now.
Okay. So that's my parting shot. Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a rush to get yourself in a place where you regret.
Yes. One word for those who have already said I do.
Now, do not fear to say I'm hurting, I am in need. Thank God for this kind of forums and people like Wawira Counseling step out and say, we need to address this issue. Don't die in silence if there's an issue. And if you're enjoying it, please celebrate each other. I like greeting people, I celebrate you. At that greeting, I discovered people thrive when they feel celebrated, when they feel loved. So enjoy your marriage. Don't admire the green fence on the other end. Someone is working hard and watering it. Water yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was powerful. Thank you, Reverend Ken. We are really honored to have you here at Wawira Counseling. Yes, under the episodes of Before and After I Say I Do, and even for concluding for us the Before I Say I Do episode for this month, climaxing it with the question and answer. So thank you very much, and the Lord bless you. And Reverend Ken is also someone you can rush to, you can call to book sessions for counseling. There are many out there, and one of them you have heard how even his knowledge about the questions, and he's had a lot of experience in working with couples before marriage. So do not shy, do not retreat, but get out for help, call out for help, get out for preparation for marriage, so that then you may thrive in your relationship when you say I do. So thank you, viewers. It's been nice having you this evening. We look forward to having you next Friday. It's me, your host, as we start our new episode on After I Say I Do. Keep it on our page for more updates on the topics that we've lined up for you. So bye-bye for now, and God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Fiona, for doing the sign language interpretation. Thank you. Bye, Reverend Ken. Bye, everybody.